You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Lowe's knows how to help make your home holiday ready for less. Get Select Style Selections vinyl flooring for just $1.99 per square foot and have it installed before the festivities begin. Our team can help you every step of the way. See a Lowe's Red Vest associate or visit Lowe's.com/holiday install to get started. Lowe's, we help, you save. Basic install only. Date restrictions apply. Subject to availability. Installed by independent contractors. See associate for details. Contiguous U.S. only.
Welcome to your custom deep dive. If you work in learning and development, or, L&D, you've probably felt the ground shifting beneath your feet lately. We're seeing this rapid move away from those static online courses, the ones that just kind of gather digital dust.
The one and done type.
Exactly. And we're moving toward these really dynamic, hyper-personalized learning experiences driven by artificial intelligence. So our mission today is simple. Give you a clear, systematic analysis of this huge transition. To do that, we've looked at key sources, and we're drawing particularly on insights from Ravi Shankar Das, who's got 2 decades navigating L&D transformations across big IT firms, financial services, education. Quite the background.
He really does. 20 years is a long time in this field, especially with the pace of change.
It is. So we're here to unpack the fundamental difference between, let's say, traditional course development and its AI-based counterpart. We want to help you grasp the magnitude of this shift before you start planning your own organization's next digital learning strategy.
And what's really fascinating here, I think, is that the differences aren't just about the tools you might use. Swapping one authoring software for another.
Right.
It actually permeates the whole development lifecycle. Everything from the initial analysis right through to how you measure business success, maybe months down the line. So we're going to systematically break down exactly where and how AI is creating, speed, personalization, and efficiency gains.
Okay.
If we had to boil it down, maybe get the most important nugget out right up front, the core philosophical difference. It's this. Traditional e-learning. It's fundamentally content-centric. It's human-driven, it's slower, and it's pretty much stuck in a one-size-fits-all model.
Familiar.
Yeah. But AI-based development, it just flips that script entirely. It becomes learner-centric, deeply data-driven, dramatically faster, adaptive, and truly personalized. And holding on to that philosophical distinction, that's really the key lens we need as we look at every stage that follows.
That makes a lot of sense. If the content isn't the center of the universe anymore, the whole process has to change dramatically. And this transition, it kicks off right at the beginning, doesn't it? What we're calling segment 1, the data-driven revolution. This seems to totally change how we handle requirement analysis and planning.
Oh, absolutely. Think about the traditional way we did a needs assessment. It was just this massive manual effort, right? Often took months. You were relying so heavily on human input, sending out surveys, doing hours and hours of stakeholder interviews, trying to get consensus from subject matter experts, your SMEs.
And just collecting the data was work, let alone analyzing it.
Exactly. The sheer labor involved was huge, first in the collection, and then you had to manually process all that data and, try to spot patterns across different groups. It was kind of like steering a massive ship based on a handwritten ledger that was already 6 weeks out of date.
Yeah, not very agile. So the AI-based approach, this is where we see that radical leap in speed you mentioned.
A huge leap. Instead of waiting for that slow survey cycle to finish, AI connects directly into the ecosystem. It uses learning analytics, it pulls data straight from the learning management system, the LMS, it scrutinizes performance dashboards, runs AI-driven diagnostics, and identifies skill gaps almost instantly.
Wow, okay, so it's less guesswork.
Much less. It's really the difference between asking people what they think they know versus tracking what they actually do. But it goes beyond just diagnostics, too. This is where AI brings in real predictive power.
Predictive? How so?
Well, it's not just looking backward at the skill gaps you have now. Predictive analytics can actually forecast future learning needs. It looks at anticipated business trends, maybe organizational shifts.
So instead of reacting like, oh, sales were down last quarter, we need a course on X, AI is proactive.
Exactly. It might say something like, okay, based on current market conditions and our hiring pipeline, we're going to need 50 people proficient in skill-wise 6 months from now, or we risk missing our Q3 targets.
That's a strategic advantage.
It really is. And then machine learning steps in to automatically generate these hyper-personalized learner profiles based on all that real-time data. It's not just looking at job titles. It's looking at specific interaction patterns, proven competencies, even preferred ways of learning. You move from these generic learner personas to having a dynamic, individual blueprint for every single person.
Okay, so that speed and precision must carry through into the planning and execution phase as well.
It does, absolutely. Traditionally, planning meant fixed timelines, right? Manual resource allocations, static generic learning paths sort of baked into the course structure. And if your human project manager missed a key risk early on, well, you were stuck in change request hell.
We've all been there.
Right. But AI makes planning dynamic. It makes it resilient. You have these AI-powered project management tools, PM tools that optimize schedules. They can auto-adjust timelines based on real-world constraints. Like maybe an SME suddenly becomes unavailable. And they proactively flag high-risk dependencies. So we shift from those fixed learning paths to personalized paths generated dynamically for different groups. The AI handles all that micro-optimization.
That sounds like a huge efficiency gain right there.
It is. And there's more. The AI can automatically suggest content reuse.
How does that work?
It intelligently scans your existing asset library, pulling existing videos, articles, documentation, and automatically slots them into new learning paths where they fit. Previously, someone had to manually search for that stuff, check the usage rights, integrate it. Now the AI does the heavy lifting, which, as you can imagine, dramatically speeds up the time to market.
Right, less reinvention of the wheel.
Precisely.
Okay, so if planning shifts from, like you said, manual ledger balancing to this dynamic real-time optimization, this has got to fundamentally change how we actually design and build the courses themselves. Let's dive into that in segment 2. Design and development, the adaptive shift.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting for the creators. When we talk about traditional instructional design, or ID, we're talking about a manual process, often quite laborious. IDs would manually create these detailed storyboards, specific assessments, learning activities, and they were often rigidly following linear structured models like ADDE.
Analysis, design, development, implementation, evaluation.
Yep. Or SAM, the successive approximation model. Step by step, very structured.
And the key word there really is linear, isn't it? You had to go through Module A, then Module B, then take the assessment, even if you already knew half the content.
Exactly, it didn't matter. The AI-based design just completely overhauls that linear experience. The learning is powered by AI engines where the content adapts in real time. It instantaneously shifts based on how the learner is interacting, their performance, maybe even the time of day they're learning. That's true adaptive learning.
So what does that look like practically for the development team? Are they still building modules?
Well, yes and no. Generative AI can auto-create a lot of the necessary components now. It can draft storyboards from pretty basic prompts. It can generate entire quiz banks tailored to specific learning objectives, rapidly produce micro-learning modules, all based on that hyper-personalized profile we talked about earlier.
Okay.
So the learner gets put onto a non-linear pathway. If they ace the pretest on, say, topic X, the system doesn't force them through 3 hours of fixed modules on it.
Right. It skips them ahead.
Exactly. It might send them straight to some enrichment material or maybe on to the next critical topic they don't know.
I really like that emphasis on nonlinearity.
Right.
It sounds like the human instructional designer's job is kind of freed up from that mechanical creation part.
Absolutely. Their role shifts. And think about things like compliance and accessibility, too.
Oh, yeah. That's always a big one.
Huge. Previously, ensuring requirements like Section 508 compliance, accessibility features, auto-captioning, or real-time translation, that was a meticulous manual checklist item, often delayed the final rollout. Now, AI assists proactively with these tasks. It can often generate the required transcripts and alt text as the content is being developed much faster, much more integrated.
Okay, so moving to the actual content creation. Traditional development was notoriously time-intensive, often very costly. You had teams sitting in tools like Articulate Storyline or Captivate, needing heavy subject matter expert involvement for every script review, every interaction, every little media asset.
Right, hours and hours. Now we're talking about rapid content generation. We're using AI authoring platforms that integrate various tools. For instance, you might use systems like Synthesia to generate realistic video avatars almost instantly.
Ones that look like real people speak.
Yeah, exactly. Then you might use large language models like ChatGPT or Copilot to draft comprehensive scripts or knowledge checks. And maybe leverage image generators like Midjourney or DLE for graphics and scenarios.
So the role of the SME, the subject matter expert, often highly paid, that fundamentally changes then. They're not bogged down writing the whole course from scratch for weeks.
Correct. Their job shifts entirely. It moves from manual creation to validation and refinement. The AI delivers, let's say, the 80% draft in minutes or hours, and the human SME comes in to validate the accuracy, add the nuance, check the critical points, that remaining 20%.
That makes sense. Focus their expertise where it's most needed.
Precisely. And this ability to automate content generation means updates become much easier too. Think about quarterly policy changes or software updates. These can potentially be automated with minimal human effort, making revisions scalable across maybe hundreds of courses almost instantly.
That scalability is huge, which leads us neatly into segment 3, looking at the infrastructure that actually powers all this change.
Yeah.
The tools, technology, and project management. Traditionally, L&D used, well, standalone authoring tools and pretty basic LMS platforms that were essentially just repositories. Right?
Digital filing cabinets almost.
Yeah. You had limited interactivity, maybe a simple quiz, a drag and drop, usually packaged up as SCORM or XAPI files, which were mainly designed just to track completion and maybe a simple score.
Right. Basic tracking. The AI world really requires a more unified ecosystem.
Yeah.
We're moving to cloud-based AI authoring ecosystems that are integrated directly with the learning management systems, LMS, or increasingly learning experience platforms, LXPs.
And that distinction between an LMS and an LXP, that's pretty crucial here, isn't it?
It really is. An LMS traditionally is built to manage and track compliance training. It's primarily administrator-focused.
Quite.
And LXP, on the other hand, is built to surface relevant, personalized content to the user. Think of it like Netflix for learning. It's learner-focused.
Yeah.
So when you integrate AI into that LXP environment, you start getting really powerful features like conversational AI tutors, basically chatbots that can guide the learning in real time. You get adaptive assessments that change difficulty based on the learner's performance. Real-time language translation becomes feasible. And you can integrate AI-powered virtual and augmented reality for much deeper personalized skills practice.
VR Air for skills.
Interesting. And the project management side of things, you mentioned AI PM tools earlier. It sounds like it finally moves beyond spreadsheets.
Oh, thank goodness, yes. Traditional PM often meant manual tracking of progress, scope, risks, syncing managers and endless email chains and those shared spreadsheets that were always out of date.
Definitely familiar territory.
Right. The AI-powered PM dashboards become the sort of central brain for the operation. They enable predictive scheduling, calculating pretty accurately how long a specific task might take based on historical data. They can handle workload balancing across a team of designers, flagging automated task assignments or risk alerts.
Like what kind of alerts? Well, for example, the system might alert you that, hey, if the SME for Module 4 doesn't approve this content by Friday, the planned launch date is now mathematically impossible.
Proactive warnings.
Exactly. It just boosts efficiency, scalability, and crucially provides real-time decision support that humans, frankly, just can't match at that scale.
Okay, so we've planned it, we've built it with these new tools. Now comes the moment of truth, which you touched on earlier. Segment 4. How do we measure effectiveness and actually demonstrate ROI? This feels like maybe the biggest shift for L&D strategists.
I think it is. Traditionally, measuring effectiveness relied very heavily on a Kirkpatrick model, right? Levels 1 through 4.
Level 1, reaction, did they like the course?
Okay.
Level 2, learning they passed the test.
Level 3,
Yeah.
behavior change. Did they do anything different on the job? And level 4, results. Did it impact the business? But you relied heavily on things like post-course surveys, maybe performance tests months later. The reporting was often limited to pretty simple completion rates and quiz scores.
Which sounds a bit like waiting until the end of the semester to find out if the students actually learned anything useful.
It really is, and often that data was pretty disconnected from actual real-world performance. AI essentially throws out that wait-and-see model. It shifts to real-time, continuous analytics. It tracks these really granular data points that were previously almost invisible to L&D.
Like what sort of things?
Things like learner engagement levels, maybe emotional sentiment gleaned from text responses or interactions, click patterns, even hesitation time on questions.
Okay, pause on that for a second, hesitation time. That's fascinating. Why does knowing how long someone pauses before answering matter more than just whether they got it right or wrong?
It matters because it reveals cognitive load and confidence, not just simple recall. Think about it. If a learner answers quickly and correctly, they likely have mastery. If they answer correctly, but only after a long pause or multiple attempts, it suggests they were probably guessing or maybe applying excessive mental effort. They're struggling.
Ah, okay. So the AI sees that stroke.
Yes. And it uses that hesitation data, among other things, to dynamically inject remediation, maybe offer a hint or provide support before the learner even formally fails a section or gets frustrated.
That's powerful. Proactive support based on subtle cues.
Very. And then the predictive analytics come in again, connecting this granular training impact directly to business key performance indicators or KPIs. So we move beyond just asking, did they pass the test, to asking, okay, how did this specific training module actually affect their sales numbers or their average support ticket resolution time or their overall quarterly productivity?
A direct line of sight.
Precisely. And this obviously changes the costing structure, too. Traditional development usually had a high initial investment because of all the human resource hours, the high labor cost of media production, SME time.
Right.
AI certainly has a higher technology investment up front, licensing the LXT systems, integrating machine learning tools, but the long-term operational cost tends to be dramatically lower because of the automation, the rapid content generation, the faster turnaround.
And presumably the ROI timeline reflects that change as well.
It does. Traditional ROI is often long-term, focused generally on maybe compliance or standardization. It might take a year, maybe more, to really realize the business impact clearly. Whereas the AI-based ROI, it's often measured in weeks or months. The return is rapid and direct. It's measured via verifiable improvements in productivity, maybe employee retention, documented upskilling metrics, automation of workflow tasks. The linkage between the training dollars you spend and the business results you achieve is no longer just theoretical. It becomes analytically provable.
That kind of direct, provable impact.
Yeah.
It must look different depending on the setting, right?
Yeah.
In segment 5, let's maybe touch on those 3 examples from the sources, showing how AI forces a change in strategy within specific domains.
Yeah, good idea. Let's start with corporate training. Traditionally, the analysis there often centered around, say, quarterly HR-led skill gap reports that looked at company-wide averages. Pretty blunt instrument. That strategy is rapidly becoming obsolete. The analysis shifts entirely when AI can scan live performance data, CRM metrics, department KPIs, identifying exactly which team, maybe even which individual, needs help right now.
So the focus moves away from those generic compliance-heavy modules,
Yeah.
the classic mandatory HR training we all kind of dread,
You do.
and moves toward personalized micro-learning designed for specific, measurable business impact, like achieving a targeted skill uplift or a needed behavioral change among, say, a specific customer-facing team.
Exactly. Now, contrast that with academic education. Planning there traditionally relied on fixed semester-based schedules and standardized curricula for everyone.
Right, same pace for all.
But now, AI can assess a student's prior knowledge much more accurately, recommend an optimal pacing dynamically, instantly assign remediation work for struggling areas, or offer enrichment activities for more advanced students. It becomes much more individualized.
And the effectiveness metrics change too, moving beyond just grades and attendance.
Absolutely. They move from those static semester grades to continuous mastery tracking. The AI tracks conceptual understanding in real time, helping ensure a student moves forward only when true competency is achieved, not just because the final exam date arrived.
Okay, makes sense. And the third example, product education.
Right. This covers customer and partner training, which is often a huge revenue area for companies. Traditional requirement analysis here used to be gathered slowly, maybe from manual support tickets, customer surveys, anecdotal feedback.
A bit hit or miss.
Yeah. When AI enters, the analysis shifts instantly. The AI can mine vast amounts of CRM data, product usage logs, even in-app clickstream patterns to see where users are actually struggling or succeeding with the product.
Ah, so it sees the friction points directly.
Exactly, and that makes the ROI direct and immediate. The training gets optimized to improve concrete metrics like feature adoption rates, significantly reducing the customer's time to value with the product. And ultimately, it can cut down significantly on support costs because users are trained more effectively right from the start. It's a very direct link between effective L&D and financial savings.
Okay, let's try and unpack this for everyone listening. It feels like the core takeaway from this entire deep dive is that fundamental shift from manual linear creation to automated adaptive adaptation. And that applies at every single stage of the life cycle. It means data-driven planning, automated AI-generated content that adapts in real time, and this continuous granular measurement that's directly tied to observable business outcomes and specific learner behavior. Is that a fair summary?
I think that's a great summary, and this deep dive really clarifies that adopting AI isn't just about swapping one tool for another, like getting a new version of PowerPoint. It means fundamentally changing the roles of the people involved, the developers, the instructional designers, the SMEs.
Also,
They stop being primarily manual content builders, the delivery mechanism for the information. Instead, they evolve. They become validators, content curators, high-level strategists who are orchestrating the AI's power to maximize performance and learning outcomes.
a more strategic role.
Definitely. More strategic, less bogged down in the repetitive creation tasks.
Okay, so bringing it back to the listener.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about how AI can now track emotional sentiment, behavioral data, click patterns, even hesitation, all in real time to personalize your learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
But this raises a pretty important, maybe even provocative question for you to consider. How will our very definition of learner successes evolve when the technology might know why you're struggling or where you need help, potentially before you even realize you need to ask?
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.